Good day to you. My name is Maria Kądzielska and you are watching Poland Daily Culture. Today we will answer the question, what is Valdaj Club? And the person who will do it is Maria Kądzielska, Polish philosopher. Again, thank you very much for showing up in our studio.
Thank you for inviting me.
And we're talking here about geopolitics and some difficult topics as well, and things which are helpful right now to understand what's going on in Ukraine and what also are Russians' plans for Poland, because this is definitely something which is coming as well. And we all know that if Ukraine falls, then we are the next. So what is Valdaj Club?
Well, the Valdaj Club is another intellectual center. It's a think tank controlled by Russian government. And this is the think tank where the elites, intellectual and political elites of Russia discuss their possibilities, the spectrum of their opinions. So this is very interesting because if we read their reports, we may see what the Russian influential politicians are thinking. And this Valdaj Club is headed by Andrei Sushentsov, who is a program director. And in this moment that we are observing right now in Ukraine, which from our perspective is a situation where Russians are gradually withdrawing, they are losing their positions, they are not doing very well there. Valdaj Club issued a report in which they claim something completely different. So this is interesting, how differently they observe the situation.
But are they observing it like that, or are they pretending to be like this for the, I don't know, the masses or the Russians?
It's not that they are pretending. This is something that they are planning, and this is something they will follow, even if it starts off from false assumptions. And the assumptions are the following, that Russia is actually winning the war in Ukraine, but this is accompanied by the statement that there is no way to come back to status quo, which cuts off any doors for further negotiations with Ukrainians. And it says that we have to apply more force against Ukrainian. We are not in a position to discuss with them. And their goal, what they openly claim, is elimination of Ukrainian government and their political elites. And they even claim that all the politicians that are opting for any negotiations with Russia are physically eliminated in Ukraine, which is most probably not happening, even if they are arrested. They also, I mean, in the Valdaj Club, they believe that the West is very much softening, and Western countries are willing to sacrifice a lot to avoid larger scale war and changing the status quo, while the Russians are ready to sacrifice a lot and even to escalate war in order to achieve their objectives, their goals. But on the other hand, they are claiming something like this, that the state of Ukraine is in ultimate danger for Russian Federation because the West is construing, and it is openly stated, a kind of Israel of the Eastern Europe, which is fully armed and directed against Russian Federation, that constitutes military danger for them. So they believe that they should push not only on the Ukraine, but also on the Western states. But right now, they say the things that should happen and that would be very beneficial in pursuance of our goals would be some catastrophes and disasters in the West, like the explosion in a nuclear power plant, or some pipelines, or maybe other natural catastrophe. And if we look, for instance, upon the poisoning of waters in Oder, that is very much obscured and bizarre right now, the first thing we should analyze how much Russian intelligence is behind it, because this is absolutely in line what Andrei Sushentsov from the Valdez Club declared a couple of weeks ago, that this kind of things will happen in the West, and this will soften the attitudes of Western, especially European countries. And they should understand that this is for their best interest and for interest of Europe to push out the Americans from the continent of Europe, because the ultimate goal is the construction of some kind of superstate and superpower between Germany and Russian Federation.
So
and they refer also to what Bismarck claimed, that to the west, to the east, the Germany has no enemy. There is no enemy to the east of Germany. So it was a declaration of friendship with Russia. That is continuing right now.
So basically, the Vaude Club is they also the geopolitical club of Russian intelligentsia who want to reshape the way of thinking of European countries and European societies when it comes to the future of Europe.
I think from one hand it's a kind of warning, on the other hand it's a kind of revealing their plans and making Western societies aware of what is going to happen. But what is the most important, in my opinion, that the Russians are really delivering what they claim. So if we observe the war in Ukraine, this is something that was declared by Dugin, that this is inevitable, this is what is going to happen. And now, if anything will start happening, like mysterious explosions in power plants, or cutting off the power lines, or natural disasters of unknown origin, we should think of declarations of Vaude Club and these catastrophes as softening the spirits of the West, while the Russians are willing to sacrifice a lot of their standard of life and their military power to continue.
Previously, no one was taking seriously what Alexander Dugin said and Russian intelligentsia, and right now we are facing the consequences of this on the ongoing war in Ukraine, and everything what will end and resolve, how it will resolve, because it's still absolutely unknown. The other think tank which is to be taken seriously, that's the Vaude Club, and we seriously recommend to you to read it, to read the declarations, the statement, and to watch out what's going on right now in Europe. And thank you very much for watching Poland Daily Culture.